Hi guys, okay, this is Mr. John, the ICT teacher. This is a correction of the examination I gave to you, which is an extract of one of the past questions of the ICT Cambridge ICT. Particularly this aspect we are looking at is data manipulation, which was given to you as a test. So this is a correction of what you did, like I promised you I was going to do. Alright, let's dive into this and see how we are supposed to do it for those of you who didn't get it right. Let's start with first. It said you have been supplied with the following source files. So let's confirm. Yes, I have my source files here. I have the three source files: evidence, marina, and vessels. Now open the evidence documents. I have the evidence RTF. Open mine. Let's open that. Okay, there I have my file there. Sorry. Now we have make sure that your file your name, center number, and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. So to do that, you either use your header or use your footer, but I want to go with the header, so I'm going to just double click at my margin, or you use your insert, and from insert, header, footer, I want that line to the right, so I'm going to have my name there, John, and center number, and maybe my candidate number could be 0001. Okay, that's good. When I'm done, double click on the page, and I have that's going to be displaying on every page of this document. And then the next one says save the document in your work area as evidence, followed by candidate number, something like this. Okay, so I go to save as. To do that, I go to file and you go to your save as, and you can click on browse, then give it a file name, evidence, my number 00001. Okay, and I save that. All right. Well, sometimes you might want to save it as MS Word, a document file, but I think I prefer, since it's just an evidence document that will be printed, I could still leave it as an RTF document. Or better still, to show you what I mean, if I want to change it, I could have saved it as save as, browse, change the type here, this is what I was talking about, change it to Word document, then I save it that way. So it's a choice. For the evidence document, we are not particular about what format the file is saved as. And you will need the evidence documents during the examination to do to place screenshots. Okay, let's move on now to the task, which is the database task that you're actually given. The first instruction there says you are now going to prepare some reports. Remember, like we taught you learned in the class, that we have 4 objects of the database: the tables, the forms, queries, and reports. The report is usually the last part, the printed out aspect of what you have done from all your editings. Okay, so we are going to get reports. Make sure all currency values displays the same currency symbol. Now, we're not giving any particular symbol. Whichever symbol you are using, just make sure it's the same and set towards 0 decimal place. Good instruction, you need to take note of that. Okay, so let's move on while we take note of that. Using a suitable database package, import this, that's marina.csv. Okay, let's quickly, so I'm going to be using access to do that. I taught you that's the database package. I'm going to open access. Okay, I will just give it a file name. Let's say class name there. Would I leave it or just give it as class 11? Okay, 11b. Okay, so let's start out with that. Right now, the next thing is to import the table like the question says. So you know there are 2 ways you could do the import. Either you go to external files, click here, come to your file, and from file and pick text file. That's one way. Or you just right click on this, come to import, and you pick text file. So let's go with the second. To browse to where that file is located. So it's located in my document. Okay, let me just go through it. So 11b. Okay, now I'm bringing in Marina. So we click on open, click on OK. The next page here, you have to select the first delimiter because it's a CSV file, comma separated values. Then we click on next. We pick this that says that the first column serves as the field name. Okay, so we click on the next. Here we want to set our data type. So we need to check the questions for the data types. If you look at it, from the table it says all text, only the last one is number, which is currency. Okay, so we check through the first data: short text, short text, short text, short text, short text, short text. Good, we are looking good. So let's quickly move on this. Okay, Next one we have short text. This way I'm checking that to see the data type. Short text, and for the last field, remember it should be in currency. So I'm going to change this to currency. Alright, now click on next. Here we're going to set our primary key. So let's check the question. We have set Marina ID as primary key. So I want to select this second option, and then I'm going to pick on Marina ID. So set it as my primary key. Click on next. That's the name of the table, and then I finish on this. Once you do that, the table will display here in the object. Okay, so we have the object names here, we have the table displayed, but let's quickly go to the design view to be sure we have everything. Now remember the instruction at the beginning says our currency values should display as 0 decimal place. So I'm coming down here to the format where we have a decimal place. I don't want it set to auto, I want it set to 0 because that's what the instruction we were given. Now all other things are in order. I save, then I can change back to my database datasheet view. Okay, let's check that. Yes, that is currency is 0 decimal place. Okay, now let's move on to the question and continue. Now it says import the vessels CSV as a new table in your database. Okay, use the field names and data types set below. Okay, so we have this vessels. Alright, now let's quickly go the same thing we did for this. We can import, so let's use the other method which I told you. Go to external data, from file, then we go to text file. Let's browse to where the vessels table is stored on the system. Vessels, then we click open. Remember it's the CSV file, so we still go with the comma separated value. Then here we don't forget to pick this. Very important that you always remember to pick this first row is the field name. Then we click on next. Now to set our data types, let's check from our question. We have text, number. Let's quickly check that. We have short text, second short text. Here we have it as long integer. I will suggest whatever the system picks here for the number, just let's go with the data type. So we have double, okay. We have double that for the next three, where we have number, okay. 2 decimal places. We're going to do this when we get into the database itself. Then third one, the fourth here is still number. Okay, yes, that's a long integer. Then we have text. Let's check this. Short text, correct. And the last one is the boolean yes or no. So here we have to change this to the yes or no. Alright, now data types have been set. We click on next. For the primary key, it says to not set a primary key. So that means we are picking the last option here. We do not want any primary key. Then we click next. Yes, and we finish the importing of this table. So there we have the two tables imported. We have the Marina and we have the vessels table. Let's check this. Okay, but this is displayed as checkboxes, but your question says it should display as yes or no, and these other two decimal places. So let's quickly go to our design view to effect that. First, we start with the two numbers there, the length and the birth. Okay, we go with the length here. We want to change that the decimal place to 2. So we come, we select 2 decimal place. The next one also, you want to change that to 2 decimal place. You click on the drop down. 2 decimal place, that's 3. Okay, 2 decimal place. Then for this, it should be displayed as yes or no. We saw check boxes. So to do that, we go to the lookup tab. Then under the checkbox here, we want to change it to combo box. Okay, we'll change the combo box there. Then we remember to save. Ctrl S for the shortcuts. Then go back to our datasheet view. And yes, we have a yes or no. Here we have it in 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places. Okay, I think we are good to go. Right, so let's continue. The next thing now says take a screenshot, evidence of the table structures showing please, I beg your pardon, showing field names, 1, data types, 2, and make sure the primary key is showing for the Marina table, specifically because if you check from the question here, you are actually giving primary key. So they want, I'm sure the evidence wants to be sure that you actually set Marina ID as the primary key. So let's go back there to get a screenshot. First, we go to our Marina table, change to our design view. Now can you see the primary key set there? These are the field names. the data types, and the primary key. So there we can now get a screenshot. Let's get a screenshot. Okay, print and print screen, and please make sure all three appears. Okay, the screenshot should show primary key, field names, and all data types. That's the first screenshot. We go to evidence document 1, paste that there. Okay, then we go to the second. Let's change this back to data sheet view. Go to the second table. Go to the design view also, all field names and all data types properly shown. Your screenshots. Okay, you can use that, and that is taken in beautifully done. Okay, I do my screenshot with a particular application which has been installed, but in case you don't have that app, I could also use the sniping tool, just in case you don't know, you want to learn how to use that. Okay, let me keep that way. I'm going to use that in the next screenshot I want to do. So we close this. Okay, so we move on to the next question. Sorry. Okay, having done the evidence, create a one-to-many relationship between Marina ID in the Marina table and Marina in the vessels table. Okay, to create a relationship, we have to go to database tools. We click on the relationship there, button there. Here I already have my tables displayed here. But peradventure, while you're using yours, you have something like this. None of the tables are displayed. You don't need to worry. Just right click on the interface here and say show tables, and this list will pop up. So let me bring out, either you double click or you click on it and add table. Okay, once that is done, come to the outline, double click on this to make it fully visible, double click on the outline again to make it fully visible. Alright, so I want to identify a Marina ID on Marina table, and where's Marina on this table? Here I have Marina, so I'm going to be picking from this, drag it and drop it on Marina. Yeah, those are the two fields. It says Marina ID on Marina table and this on the vessels table Marina. So I create that. Okay, very well done. The relationship has been created. Okay, so take a screenshot, evidence showing the fields and type of relationship. Take notes, because all of these particular statements carry marks. It says showing 1, the fields, and 2, the type of relationship placed in your evidence document. Okay, from this now, this has shown the fields, but we don't know the type of relationship from this particular. So if I just take a screenshot from this will only show me the field, but it doesn't have anything to show the type of relationship. So I have to double click on the line. Now from this, you can see with the fields, and here the type of relationship one-to-many. So you see that I just take a screenshot of even only this box, or take a screenshot of everything this way. So let's take a screenshot. Now remember I said I wanted to use the sniping tool for you. So if I click on new, okay, and that gives me just a similar thing like the other screenshots application. Click on this. Beg your pardon. Then let's go to here where we want to paste it. Okay, and I paste that. Alright, so you can see I've used with the sniping tool or my screenshot application, whichever one works. You can do well with that. So once I'm done with the screenshot, I can click on OK for this to go hidden. Now let's continue with the question. Question 3 now says create a columnar data entry form with all the fields in the vessels table to display one record at a time. Enter the following details as a new record. So now I want to create a form. So we go to the next thing. Let's go back to access. All right. Now I want to create another object. We've done the table object. Now I want to go to the form object. So we're going to the form object here. You'll be using your form wizard. You click on that. Now which particular table do you want to use? We want to use the vessels. So we go to the vessels table. We are picking all the fields as the question says. Click on next. It's a columnar, that's why we selected that. If you see the question, remember from the question it says a columnar data entry form using all the fields. So that's why we picked all the fields, the columnar. Click on next. Alright, we're not particular about the title. We click on finish, and very well done. So now this is what the form is going to look like. It has different views. So if you go to your layout view, if you want to make it a little bit more you could reduce the size for it to be a bit uniform. If you hold down your shift key, you could actually pick 2 different fields at the same time. Okay, now that looks a little bit more presentable. Yep. Okay, now let's try and fill in this data. It says we should fill in this data. We have the Western Star, so let me copy it. For you, if you have the hard copy, you will actually type in, so you need to be very careful to ensure that every field is actually well typed. Now, you don't edit an existing field. You have to come down to click on this that says new record. When you click on that, it wipes out the space. Then please remember to change back to your form. Almost forgot that. To your form view. Now, having clicked on new record, we come down here. This is the first one. Make sure you type everything accurate. Don't make any mistake while entering this, because your marks also, accuracy is very important in this examination. Okay, so I have that. For me, it's quite easier because I'm using the system, but I believe while typing, you take note of every detail. Please do not make any mistake when entering these scores or these values. Sorry. Now we have 8 there. I want to copy 8. Okay. And I have Jervis. Okay. That's the code there. Because this is no. Okay, it's already no as the default values. No. And once you are done there, you want to save it. Okay, so that is in. Then let's go on. It says check your data entry for errors. Like I said, ensure that while typing the values, you do not make any mistake. Now, evidence 3, place in your evidence document a screenshot of the form with the new record displayed. Okay, still displayed, so I could just go ahead and pick my screenshot. Okay, and I want to screenshot this. Right, good. Go to my evidence. That's the next evidence, and I want to paste that there. Okay, my evidence is at the top. Let's take it down. All right, now the evidence is pasted there, displaying everything. Good. Let's take note. Make sure you save this. Then maybe just in the exam to be sure that it's actually saved in the vessels table. You might want to go back to the vessels table. You click on the vessels table. Here we are on the vessels table. I want to click on. For me, I tell students you could just close this, then open it again. Now let's go on one of the fields. I want to pick on the name. The name there says Western Star. So let's find. Control F is the shortcut there for find. So I have Western Star. Okay, let's find it. Okay, it's there. 2017, yeah, 8. So it has been populated into that particular table. Good. So we are very sure that has been saved in. Let's continue that question. Putting our evidence. Please let me close this. Okay. Alright. And the next thing we want to do is using fields from both tables. Take note, both tables prepare tabular reports. And very importantly, when you want to prepare reports, you need to take a look at the whole question completely, because we're going to be answering them in different orders just as it is required. And before you can prepare a report, which is the fourth type of object to print out reports, remember from the start of the question, it says we are going to create a report like I told you. Now we still have one more object we've not yet dealt with. We've not done the queries. Remember, this particular examination tests your ability on how you can make use of all the different types of objects of the database. We've tested you on the tables, we've tested you on the forms. So now the queries. It's important that you make use of queries to generate the fields the required fields you need for the report. It's much easier using the queries to drop down. We're going to see as we go on with this. So the next thing, now we have different conditions by which we used to run a filter for the reports. Then we have our required fields, and there's also a new field we will be creating for the question. So let's quickly dive into it and see how to do that. So we start out first with creating a query. Start with a query design. Okay, beautifully done. Now once again, we are using from both tables. Double click. Okay, once I'm done with that, thank you very much. Double click on this to make it fully visible. Yeah, so now what are the required fields that we'll be needing for? The required fields will be shown here. It says shows only the fields yard name, crewed, length. Okay, so let's make this more visible for both viewers and I. Let's go a bit closer. Let me zoom in. Alright, thank you. I think this is more visible. So we go with the yard name, double click on it to be sure it drops down. After the yard name, then we have, sorry for those if it's too big, crewed, length, and we have the beam. Okay, we have crewed here, double click, we have the length, then we have the beam. Okay, yes, they are all in. And the next one, This is quite big. It's quite big. Okay, I think the zoom level is better. We have the marina name, we have C and country code. Yes, we have marina name somewhere here. Double click. We have C here. Double click to drop that. Then we have country code. So, yes, that is in. Let's go back. Then we now have language, birth fee, and the new rate, which is the new field. So we have language and birth fee. So let's drop the language. Where do we have language? Our language is here. And lastly, the birth fee, which we double click. So let's be sure it's all in. Yes. Now, so once that is done, let's take away the zoom. All right. Thank you. Then we can run it to be sure we are all in order. All right. Every one of the fields have all populated and they are all running perfectly. So now, how do we create the new field? Because from the questions now, having done this, we go back to this question. This bullet says contains a new field called new rate, which is calculated at runtime. This field will calculate the birth fee minus 15% of the same birth fee. Okay, how do we get this done? It's just a little mathematical, just a word problem that you translate into mathematical equations. So to do this, we need to go back to our design view. All right, here we are in the design view. We go to the next available space for the field. Just click on this. All right, so you can right click within that space and go to build. Now from this, we want to pick the different, what's it called? The field that will be required to build that new field. So now we are picking from the bets. That's the vessels table. You can see the bet fees in the marina table. Okay, so let's get a little bit closer again so we can see better. We open up from here, we have this, we have the tables, and we have from marina. Yes, it is marina. Okay, where is the bet fee? Here we have it. So we double click on it, says birth fee minus, so the next thing followed by is minus 15% of the birth fee. Now 15% is like a division sign and the multiplication sign of the birth fee, which multiplication and division sign has higher priority than the subtraction sign. So I have to put a bracket. Alright, so that I ensure that that does not happen before the subtraction, just to ensure that the calculation is right. Now 15% is either 0.15 or better still we just say 15 divided by 100. Yeah, that's 15% multiplied by the birth fee. Multiplied by the field again. Okay, then I close my brackets there. Yeah, so that expression has birth fee minus 15% of the birth fee. Now it's coming from marina ID. So once that is done, you click on OK. Yes, and the expression stays in. If I click out and it stays here, so that means we're in order. Let's run it to see if. Okay, let me take away the zoom. Okay, yes, we have it there with decimal places. But let's quickly go back to the design view. Sorry, because I'm using the zoom, I want you to see it clearly. All right, now remember that it gave us a particular name for the new field, which is what? Remember, it's called the new rate. So now I want to take away this name that is displaying experiment 1. Let's take this out. Remember, leave the colon, please. Just take from behind the colon. And we have the new underscore rate. All right, once that is done, then the next, let me take away the zoom. Right, now we can run it again to check. Yes, so now it's displayed as new rate. Is that all? Let's check. Next thing now says displays the new rate field as currency with 0 decimal place. Okay, is it displaying as currency? Yes, but is it 0 decimal place? Oh no. So we have to go back to design view, click within that part, right click, and let's take the property, or you could just click on the property sheet here as the case may be. So here we have our decimal place. We want to reduce it to 0 decimal place. Good. So let's run it again and check. Yes, so now we have it perfectly done. And the next thing you can, so everything we can do in our query, we have to do everything before the sort. No matter the questions, all of these aspects can be done in the query interface, then the sort down to every other thing can be done in the report interface. So now let's run this filter. To run this filter, you actually use syntaxes. I know for some of us, we don't really like the cramming of the syntax. We have those words using the like, using the and all of those symbols. For those of you who are not familiar with that, and because it's an exam condition, we want to try and get it right and get it done fast. It's just so that, because if you write syntax and you get one error, you might get fidget and the whole thing you might get confused in the exam conditions. So how do we do this without using all of those syntax? Now let's take a look at these conditions. The first filter says yard name ends with the text star. All right. The next one says language is Greek or Spanish. And the third one says creed is no. Now I want to give a little emphasis on whenever you see any of these conditions that are tying two things, Greek or Spanish, this and this or this. When you have two conditions that are tying two things, I always advise students you do that first. Now let me do it the other way around so that you'll see what I mean. If I start with this instead, because now remember I don't want to use syntax, I just want to use this interface to solve that. If I start with this, let me show you let me come to this. We have under the languages. Now you can actually select your Greek or Spanish here if you start with this. But now let me leave that and start with the other one to show you what would happen if I start with this. Go to my text filters. Remember it says ends with star. All right, let's put in star there, STAR, and we run this. Now that is done. But now let's come to the language now and try and see. Can you see? The options for having the Greek or the Spanish has now been altered. So I advise you start first. Let me undo this. Take away all of that. Start first with one where you have the or the and. You have two things, so we could just uncheck this, pick Greek, and then we scroll down and we pick Spanish. She's going to be picking any of the two so long as one of the two conditions are within there filtered. Then we can now come to this and let's go with that text filter which says ends with what? Star. STAR. Okay, well done. And the last one now says creed is no. So if I come down here, okay, now you might say, okay, here we don't have the option, but just click on one of this where you have no, and right click there and say it's no, as is 0, and it's going to pick all the no's. Can you see that? So we all have no. If in the languages we check, we have Greek, Spanish, yes, and if we check, let's expand this. Sorry, I want to expand this. Yes, and they all end with star. All right, so we've done the right thing. How many records? We have 42 records at the end of this. So now, after doing this, we want to save this query. You might give it a name, query 1. Well, I like to just go along with query 1 for now because that's not really going to be the name. So I go with query 1. Yes, that is saved. And the next thing we now want to do is we are moving to the report interface. So the next question here is to sort. So let's move on to create a report. Create, we go to the report wizard, which is the last object. We are using data from the query, which is my query 1. I pick all the fields because all the required fields are what I'm using. Click on next. Excuse me. Here we don't want it. If you take note from the question, after picking the required field, it says do not group the data. And this option here, if you use this one, here you can see this data is grouped. It's going to group this data based on this particular condition, but you don't want the one that is grouped. So you pick on this which doesn't have any section, any division, everything is displayed together. That way it's not going to be grouped. Here again, we don't want any grouping level. Now here we have the option of the sort. Some instances you might want to, or you'd be tempted to do the sort here, but I'd advise that you don't do the sort here, because if you do the sort, whatever field you use to sort will be displayed to be brought to the first particular first field on this arrangement, and that is not what you want. Remember, you are told to make sure, let's say the question, it says if you end it says in this order, as in the arrangement must be in this order, and we don't want to distort that order to save our time because you're in exam conditions, so you skip that. Then for the orientation, what do we want? The next one says has a orientation of landscape. Okay, so click on landscape orientation, click on next. I'll still leave that title the way it is, and then I finish. When you finish, it will take you straight to the print preview. Okay, for the plots, we are not done with the editing. If we look, how many pages do we have? We have just 2 pages, which is good. If we look at the question, the next one says fit on a single page, wide and prints on what? 2 pages. So we are doing good. But we are not done, so we want to close this. Now let's go back to one of the things we skipped when we were coming to this aspect. Let's go to our layout view. We might want to go to see it better. We could close this because we don't need this right now. Now, remember we skipped the sort. I said I was going to show you where to do the sort. So it says sort the data into ascending order of the country code and descending order of the length. So where do we do the sort? We come down to tools here. We have the report. Then this option, group and sort. When you pick on that option, here you can actually have two levels of sorts that would not distort the arrangement or the order of the fields. So we click on add sort. The first one says with country code. Which field are we sorting? We are sorting with country code. Is it ascending or descending order? The question there says in ascending order. Now, peradventure you select, and after selecting, you are not sure which of the two options is ascending or descending from what is displayed here. Just take note of this. The first option is always the ascending, and the second one is the descending. So just pick for ascending. I pick with the first option. Now I go to the next one. It says descending order of the length. To add another sort, I want to pick the length. So I have the length here. Okay. Now I want it in descending order. So it's going to be the second option, which is this one. Alright. Now once that is done, please don't close it from here. Make sure you come to the top from where you selected the tool and click it back. And let's take a look at it where we have the country code. Alright. You can see starting in descending order. C. K, E, yes, now ascending starting from C down. Then let's look at the length. Where do we have length? So here we have the C's to starting from the highest. Yes, it's actually descending. So it's correct. I mean, our range sorts is correct. Now we also take a look at this. Ensure everything is fully displayed. So I want to rearrange and maximize my space. I think this is small. You could either just reduce it with your mouse or use your shift and your arrow keys. I think I like using the shift and the arrow key. It makes it much faster to reduce. Then you can take away your hand from the shift to move it around. I want to move this just to give some space. Use my shift and arrow keys. Remember, please check through to be sure nothing is truncated. Okay, for this field also, use my shift and my right arrow key to expand it. Okay, that is done. Yep. And I want to move. Okay, I don't want to tamper with this. Let's reduce the size, shift and the arrow key. Check through the titles. Are they all fully displayed? Yes, yes. Okay, C has been moved, so I want to reduce this. Holding down my shift key, then I take away the shift key and use the arrow keys to move it. Once again, I use only the arrow keys to move. Okay, I think I might want to reduce this a little. Using the shift key, the language. Okay, I think I can hold down the shift and reduce the size. Just to play with. Now without the shift, I move this. The title. Oh no, just this. Okay, I can move this and shift key to make it bigger. Right, good. Ensure that I do not go beyond these broken lines because that's the end of the page. So whatever I do, I make sure I don't go beyond the broken lines. Bring this in. Alright, perfectly done. Arrangement is good, on point. So now we go back to the question. I'm done with the sorts. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. Now the next one says includes only the text please right here to available as the title. So now after highlighting that, I copy that. You want to type that yours. Go to the top. I'm seeing my layout view. Double click on this. Sure everything is selected. I can paste that. Okay, now that is done. Beautifully done. I'm not told to edit it to make it bigger or smaller. Just said paste that at the top of the page. Alright, so we have that in a larger font, and it's actually larger, isn't it? The font is larger than the content. Alright, so now go calculate the average birth fee and places this at the end of the report, displayed as currency with 0 decimal place. So we are dealing with the birth fee field. So we come down here. Okay, here we can see some things are missing. I want to expand this. Use my shift key. Very good. So that's why it's necessary to always go through to ensure everything is fully displayed. Okay, back to the question. The birth fee field. Any of the click and right click from any point. Now we want to calculate with the totals. So we are calculating average. So once you click on that, it will drop it at the end of that field. Can we see that? Now remember, it says it should be in 0 decimal place, so you want your property sheets there. Then you want to go to decimal place and ensure okay it is 0. So but just to be double sure, I'll say click on it again and click 0. Yeah, so I'm double sure that it is 0 decimal place. That's just a digression anyway. Alright, so we have 0 decimal place placed there. That is done. Next it also says has the label average birth fee. Highlight that to the left of the value. So copy that. I can't place that to the left of the value here in the layout view. I need to go to the design view. So change that to the design view. Right, here I have my calculation. Then I want to click on this option and use your labels. Please take note, not text box. They look alike, but they are very different. Use text box for calculations when you want to carry out calculation of values, where, like in this situation, this particular calculation is done using a text box. But I want to label just a text, not a calculation. So in that situation, you pick a label. So just draw a box beside it, something like that. Okay, and I paste it. If it was you, you would have typed that in. All right, perfectly done. Then let's go back and see what it looks like in the layout view. Scroll down. Beautiful. Now to the right of it, I can now edit it if I want to. I want to make it bold. I want to align it to the right. Yeah, okay. I want to bring it closer, something like that. Perfect. Now let's take a closer look at this. Is this in currency? Oh, like I forgot. It was supposed to be in currency. Imagine I forgot, but thank God I noticed that. Alright, let's quickly go back again. Either you right click on property or you want to get a property sheet. Sorry. Okay. Let's find a property. Okay, then we want to change the format to currency. Okay, format. Let's choose currency down there. Well, I skip it. Have I passed it? Oh, yes, I have. Pick currency and still ensure that decimal place is 0. Perfect. Ah, good. That's good. I saw that. So that no marks. Every mark is important. We don't miss any mark in the question. Then the last one now says displays only. Take note when you emphasize this only, then that means there must be something else that is being displayed. When you see here those words, that means you check out there must be something they are trying to emphasize. Only your name, center number, and candidate number in the footer, so it appears in the same position on every page. Make sure no other data is displayed in the footer. So let's check. Why are they giving so much emphasis? Okay, can you see there is a data in the footer? That means they don't want this data. So how do we get rid of it? We go back to our design view. This is the data here. You might just want to draw a box around it, like that. Get rid of it. The question says no other data except your name. So there's the other one. Here again, get rid of it. I pick a label and you drop your name there. Very well done. What's my name again? John, center number, and my candidate number. Beautiful. Now let's check it from our layout view and see what it looks like. Alright, we go to the end. Yep. Okay, one page wide. Let's see our print preview. Sorry. I want to change that to my print preview. Okay. Is this print preview? No. Okay, yes, print preview. Now let's see, is it 2 pages? Yes, my name here. Let's go to the second page. Yeah, my name is on the same place and we have the average birth. Okay, all well done. Now is that all we have to do? Print out, fine. But before we print this, after printing this out, now there's another task. Let's take a screenshot evidence to show that, evidence showing the database formula used in to calculate the average birth fee. Okay, we want to see if we actually use the formula or you just type in something using a label. We need to be sure if you actually use the formula. So to give us an evidence of that, alright, so we have to go back to our design view to let them see that. Okay, now I'm in my design view, but if you look at this, let me take it closer and zoom in. You notice that it's not fully displayed and we want them to see everything, so I have to expand this a little bit. Yeah, now I could take a screenshot of this so that it could be a true evidence that I actually used that. Then I might want to reduce the size back. Right, close the zoom. Let's go back. Let's take a look at it on the layout view before I paste it in my evidence document. Okay, here we are. Okay, let's move a little bit. Let's with a shift and arrow key, bring it in a little. Okay, yeah, I think that's well done. Now let's go to our evidence document and let's paste the last evidence. Alright, and once that is done, I think that's about all you need to do in this question. And with that, you have a few marks. Although in the real examination, by the time we move on to solve full question papers, we're going to actually be creating 2 reports. It's not usually one report you creating a full examination, you create 2 reports. This is just a test to show if you have actually understood the concept that has been asked in the database. So the next video, possibly after another test, will be attempting the full question, having 2 reports, or either is a label, creating a situation where you have a report to create and a label, or you have 2 reports. Whichever situation will be, my next video we're going to see how we can do that. Thank you. I hope. And one more thing before I leave, when you can either print from here, that is change to your print preview, and then you can print your document from here. On a better way, I could also advise you could just right click your report. Sorry, it's not the report, this is the report. Okay, right click on the report and you can export it to PDF. In some past questions, we've had situations where you are told to export some of your reports, or export and show evidence of the exporting. So if I export it to PDF this way, then I ask whether I want to paste it. I have it in my same, I could call that my report, print out in PDF, saved in the same location, and I want to save that. Okay, once it's exported, you could see that, okay, that's a PDF document opened, 2 pages exported. So if you are told to show an evidence of this printout that you've actually exported it, if you go back to where it's saved, you can see report printout in PDF showing the extension that has been exported. So with that, you can print off. My battery is almost out. So on that note, I want to say thank you, and I hope you enjoy your holidays, and I look forward to seeing you back in school soon. Have a nice day. Bye.